some trends to watch. Before the coronavirus hit, I was toying with writing a book about 21st century political parties. In light of this global pandemic, it's fair to say that whatever non-fiction books you're working on now, put it down. There's the word BC before Corona and the word AC after Corona. I have not begun to fully grasp what the AC would look like. Here are some trends I'm watching. Unknown unknowns. I wrote my book The World is Flat about growing global interconnectedness in 2004. The world has gotten so much flatter and interconnected since. Hence, when I started writing that book, Facebook was just being launched. Twitter was on its sound. The crowd was still in the sky. 4G was a parking place. LinkedIn were a prisoner. For most people, applications were what they sent to college. Skype was typo and Big Data was a rap star. And the iPhone was still Steve Jobs' secret pet project. Of these connective tools, not to mention global trade and tourism, exploded after 2004 and really wild the world, which is why our planet today is not just interconnected, it's independent, in many ways even fused. This has driven a lot of economic growth, but it also meant that when things go bad in one place, that rubbles can be transmitted further, faster, deeper, and cheaper than ever. So a virus London bites another mammal in China. The mammal is sold into a Wuhan wildlife market. It inflicts a Chinese dinner with a new coronavirus, and in few weeks my public schools are closed and aging 6 feet away from anyone in Bethesda. But that's why the virus crisis is not over. Bill Joy, a computer scientist who co-founded Sun Microsoft System, put it to me like this. The last few weeks were actually pretty uprising and predictable in how the pandemic spread. But we now reach a point where all of our interlocking systems, even each with their own feedback loops, all shutting down in unpredictable ways. It will eventually lead to some random and chaotic consequences, like health care workers not having childcare. The power of exposure. One of the hardest things for the human mind to grasp is the power of expansion, something that just keeps restlessly doubting and doubting, like a pandemic. The brain just can't appreciate how quickly 5,000 cases of confirmed coronavirus infecting America can explode into 1 million if we don't lock down now. Hence, a simple way to explain the expansional threat we face, in a way an often bankrupt real estimate developer like Donald Trump might understand. We're also offended by Bill Joy. The virus like a law shark who charged 20% a daily interest. We brought $1. We think forbidden for 4 days. Now we own $7,500. If we wait 3 more weeks to pay, we will own almost 1 million. That's why working every single day to slow the rate of infection, testing everyone possible is everything. Lose that battle, lose the war. But I'm recording now. That's never mind. You can do everything you want. Never mind. It's okay. Yeah. No, nobody watching me. I just recording. Live on the web. You see? The light is on. You see? You see my face is here. But nobody watch me. You see my face. No, nobody will watching. I'm recording about 4 minutes. Yeah.
What if someone does watch? Keep going.
Okay, fine, sure, yeah, thank you. That's always why only number I'm watching now is not the Federal Reserve interest rates, it's the number of critical care coronavirus patients virus, the number of general hospital and LCU beds in the country needed to care for them. If the second number can accommodate the first one, the virus pinks will be okay. If can't, we're going to have pandemonium on top of a pandemic. The upside of expansion. There's though another expansion that many end up saving us. Morrow's Law, which was coined by Intel co-founder Gordon Morrow in 1965 and posited that the speed and the processing power of computers would double every 2 years. The more transistors can be steadily packed on a microchip. Intel, to explain the power of Morrow's law to make all kinds of things better, smarter, faster, has its engineering task. 1971 Volkswagen Beetle and tried to calculate what that car would be like today if it has improved at the same exponential rate that microchips has improved since 1971. Intel's engineers' best genius was that Volkswagen Beetles today will go about 300,000 miles per hour. It will get 2 million miles per gallon and it would cost 4 cents. That is the power of an expansion in engineering on upside. It may be just the kind of expansion that can also help bring up coronavirus treatment and the vaccine quickly. As Nati Pei, director of the Takakistan Institute, an independent research center in Bangalore, India, wrote on LiveMate.com on Sunday, advances in computer technology and synthetic biology has revolutionized both detection and diagnosis of pathogens, as well as the processes of design and development of vaccines, subjecting them to Morrow's law type cycles. Recent epidemics, starting with SARS and including H1N1, Ebola, Zika, and now COVID-19, will drove more talent and brain power to biological and pandemical science. But will be fast enough, even in the age of supercomputers, noted Goro Mercado, as research fellow at Harvard Kennedy School Center for Public Leadership. We still have no vaccine for HIV or malaria, two widespread critical diseases that we have been fighting for years. It is definitely true that the science will reach the point where we can develop new vaccines on the fly. The problem is it's still really, really hard. Will American culture or politics be fundamentally changed by the pandemic? I know for sure one joke Republican politicians will not be telling on the campaign trail this year. It's the one where they impangle the deep state, government, bureaucrats, and get the audience to laugh at saying, "Hey, I'm from the government and I'm here to help." We'll go through this crisis because of the depth of talent and the selfless commitment. Our deep state, our big government, the scientists, the medical professionals, the disaster professionals, the environmental experts, all the people who Trump tried to prove. Right now, I'm rooting for big government and big pharma to rescue us. Our political culture may also change before this is over. My friend Professor Michael Garland from the University of Maryland is the author of Rule Maker, Rule Breaker, How Tight and Loose Culture Why the World. An essay in the Boston Globe last week, Gillian recalled that in a paper she and her colleague published in Science several years ago. They classified countries in terms of how much they prioritize rules over freedom as either tight or loose writing. Tight society like China, Singapore, and Austria have many rules and punishment governing social behavior. Citizens in these places are used to have a high degree of monitoring aimed at enforcing good behavior. Losing cultures in countries such as the United States, Italy, and Brazil, the weaker rules are much more permissive. These differences in tightness and looseness, he argued, was not random. Countries with the strongest laws and strictest parchment are those with history of famine, welfare, natural disaster, and yet no outbreak. This disaster-prone nation has learned the hard way of over centuries, tight rules and older civ lives. Meanwhile, cultures that have faced few threats, such as the United States, has the luxury of remaining loose. It's pretty obvious, said Gurren. The famous tide society like Singapore and Hong Kong has demonstrated the most effective response to COVID-19. At the same time, our defenses in White House coordination and reckless public figures like Larry Kudlow, Simon Hannity, Larry Integran, Rush Limbaugh, Kelley Corwin, David Nunes, and Trump himself will initially minimize the virus' potential impacts or imputed political motives to those pounding the table for action help compound the risk to us all. So Galloway concluded, in all of the uncertainty, we need to remember that the trajectory of the virus has so much to do with the nature of the coronavirus as it does with culture. A losing cultural programming needs to do a big switch in days of calm. The greatest generation did it in World War II, but can we now? Our generosity will save us. The millions of business owners and employers out there who are invested in long-term assets that we are assuming would go up in value. A stock, a company, a home, a restaurant, a store will borrow money. That's money they cannot repay. Therefore, we not only need the Fed to backstop their banks to prevent a total meltdown, we not only need to banks to restructure the debts, we need to go flush cash into the pocket of all their workers so they can eat after their last paychecks is spent. It is encouraging to see the administration and Congress moving rapidly to do that. Just that. The more we stimulously tighten our culture and loosen our purses, the stronger and kinder society we will be AC after Corona.